What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American, here today to react and learn about 10 TV shows that every Brit knows. If there's anything that I've learned, it's that Britain has some very different stuff on TV than we have here in America. And it's fascinating to learn about it because these are basically staples of British pop culture that I have missed out on my entire life. So today, I'm very interested in learning about 10 TV shows that every Brit knows that I guarantee you I've never heard of. So let's take a look.
Here are just 10 of the many programs that Brits regularly reference in daily conversation. You know, the equivalent of Saturday Night Live, Jeopardy, or I guess the Brady Bunch. Yes, that is a program with an extra M and an E on the end. Thank you very much.
It's just, yeah, like Saturday Night, like what's the equivalent to Saturday Night Live in Britain? This is just so interesting to me. It's like all these amazing TV shows that I've literally never heard of, but that millions of people love in Britain. It's kind of crazy. For some reason, I think American TV and like American content gets seen more by British people, and yet all the great British stuff we don't get so much here in America. I don't really understand it. Anyway, let's take a look.
Blue Peter. The mission statement of the BBC is educate, inform, entertain. And this children's program does just that. It's a
Blue Peter. It's a children's program, a children's TV show? Is this something like every British child grows up watching or something? Blue Peter?
BBC is educate, inform, entertain. And this children's program does just that. It's a magazine-style show that covers every topic that a kid could be interested in, from kayaking to chemistry.
What is a magazine-style show? What does that mean? I've never heard that phrase before. Anything, magazine style? Yeah, I have no idea what that means. I'm trying to think. But anyway, sounds like a educational children's TV show that covers a lot of topics. That's very, very broad and general. What exactly is the show about?
It's been running since 1958, and it's most famous for its garden, the Blue Peter badges that you could win by writing in, and for making really, really cool things out of yogurt pots and toilet rolls.
What? I mean, it sounds like a kid's show. It has a garden. You can get a badge if you mail in, or it does arts and crafts. It sounds like this show is... Did she say from the 1950s? Did I hear that correctly? Is there any way this show is, like, 70 years old? Is this still on British TV today?
It's basically if you took the world's coolest scout troop and put them on television.
Okay.
And what exactly is a Blue Peter anyway? Well, it's a maritime signal indicating that a vessel is about to begin a journey. I looked that up. Fun.
Oh, right, the name is Blue Peter. I didn't even think about what... for some reason, my brain thought, like, maybe there's a blue animal or something. Like, maybe they already have that. You know Bluey? Bluey, the kids show or whatever. I think it's Australian. He's blue. He's named Bluey. So Blue Peter, I was like, is this like Bluey? Like a blue animal that talks to you? It's like, no, it's a maritime signal. It's got nothing to do with a cartoon. Yeah, it seems like that's another thing. In this day and age, I think like 90% or more of children's television is cartoons or like those 3D models they have now that are kind of weird, at least to me. But not so much live action. There's not so much stuff on TV that's real physical humans doing things and teaching children, at least from what I know. So this actually sounds refreshing.
Fact. Dad's Army. This was a sitcom made in the 60s and 70s about the Home Guard in a small town during World War II. These lovable old codgers were the last line of defense against the Nazis.
What? What? Is that the premise of the show? Really? Really? Oh my gosh, this is what I mean, where it's like there's all these incredible British shows with the craziest premises. Totally unlike anything we have in America. And we just miss out on all this. Dad's Army. 3 dads protecting the UK from Nazis? Is that right?
It definitely plays into an ideal of the great British stiff upper lip. But it's still on all the time because it's really, really funny. If you ever need a...
I was thinking, like, is this a comedy? I feel like it's like I still don't understand what this is exactly.
Lesson in the subtleties of social class interaction in the UK, you should watch this show because somehow we managed to even make beating the Nazis about where you went to school. Notable quotes include, "You stupid boy," and "They don't lock it up 'em." And for all of you asking at home, this is what the theme tune sounds like. Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, when you think old England's gone, ba-da-bum-bum-bum?
This isn't a joke? That's not a joke. That's actually the theme song? Army Dads? This is still on TV? I'm absolutely intrigued by that one. These are all shows that, like, most British people know of, by the way. Yeah, I've never heard of any of this stuff. And from my point of view, hearing about it for the very first time, it's kind of funny. I'm sure to British people, it's like, yeah, dads fighting Nazis, you know, theme songs with Hitler, like, totally normal. Blue Peter. But to me, it's like, what on earth? This is new to me. And it's a comedy, huh? Okay.
Coronation Street. There are many soap operas in the UK. EastEnders, Emmerdale, Casualty, and so on. But the longest running of them all is Coronation Street.
This is a soap opera. I feel like I've heard this name before. I'm shocked. Absolutely shocked. But I think I've heard the name Coronation Street. I wasn't sure if it was the name of a street in Britain, or apparently it's a television show.
Set in a gritty northern town, Corrie has been on the telly since 1960, and it follows the trials and tribulations of hard-working folk who are just trying to make an honest living and then go down the Rover's Return for a pint. Also, a lot of it takes place in a factory that makes women's undies, but...
Huh? So many of these shows make me just pause and be like, huh? What? What'd she just say? Is that normal? It's about a town where maybe there's Coronation Street. It's really just a soap opera about people going about their life. That, again, that doesn't really tell me, you know, exactly what this show is about.
It's not as raunchy as that sounds. Richard and Judy. This married couple were the king and queen of daytime TV in the UK for over 20 years. They hosted This Morning from 1988 to 2001, and then an afternoon talk show called Richard and Judy from 2001 to 2009.
Oh, this is not a scripted show. This is not a fictional show. They're like talk show hosts, Richard and Judy. Yeah, I've never heard of them before.
Think Regis and Kathy Lee meets Oprah. Charlotte Church was discovered by calling into Richard and Judy and singing to them when she was just 11 years old because they love talented showbiz kids. So I guess Regis and Kathy Lee meets Oprah meets Ellen? Look, there are a limited amount of channels in the UK, so talk shows are in short supply, all right. Their shows are definitely on the low-brow end of the spectrum. Typical conversation might go something like, have you heard of birds? Birds? What are birds? I've never heard of such a thing.
You know what? That's okay. You know, at the end of the day, for better or for worse, I think all of us need mindless television, if that's what she's trying to say. That Richard and Judy supplied sort of like daily talk show, mindless TV, like not the deepest stuff in the world, but entertaining. Like I'm a sucker for reality TV and stuff. Like sometimes you just gotta shut your brain off and just take it in and not have to think too deeply about a show, and that's what makes it enjoyable in a way. So yeah, Richard and Judy seem to accomplish what it was meant for.
What is such a thing? The Great British Bake Off.
The Great British Bake Off. See, I thought I would not have heard of any of these shows. I'm a little surprised here. These must be very, very famous for me to have heard of them in America. I've heard of the Great British Bake Off, or at least sometimes clips from this show like come up on YouTube and are recommended, and I'm like, what is the Great British Bake Off? Always trying to make me watch the Great British Bake Off. And it's like, maybe there's a reason. I'm thinking this is a baking competition show.
Oh, this show is so embarrassingly British it makes me squirm. It's an amateur baking competition. It takes place in a tent behind a mansion house, and it is by far the most talked about show on TV.
Really?
Think of a small town cake baking competition, or what would happen if Zooey Deschanel hosted MasterChef. Also, one of the judges is called Mary Berry. No, really, and she's terrifying.
Mary Berry, what? So again, it's like a reality TV show in Britain. Great British Bake Off. I need to watch like an episode of that because I've heard of that. And I mean, according to this, it's one of the most British things ever. So, okay, let's keep going.
Snooker. This highly competitive form of pool is regularly aired on British TV. It goes on for hours and it's really, really boring.
Snooker. Okay, I've seen a little bit of snooker before. Not on TV, but on YouTube. Very interesting game. I actually reacted to snooker like a while back on this channel. I did a whole video looking at snooker, so it's very British. We do not have it in America. And I didn't realize how popular it was. This is like one of the top 10 shows every Brit knows. This is a show. Does this count as a show, snooker? Maybe. It's funny because here in America, we have billiards, but they really do not show that on TV. It's not very popular. It's sort of our version of snooker. But by the sound of this, snooker in the UK is much, much, much more popular. And actually, it's watched on television. Whereas in America, you know, billiard, pool, sport is not.
Also, the players wear these funny suits with these velvet waistcoats. I don't know. Despite this, it remains bafflingly popular and is regularly shown on primetime TV. My overwhelming memory of the snooker as a child was that it would replace The Simpsons on BBC Two, because whoever is making the scheduling decisions hated fun.
Oh my gosh. I'm shocked. I did not know how popular this game was.
Commentary is also fantastically monotonous. Oh, Robinson's placed the white ball. Oh, yes, that's a nice break.
Oh, gosh.
That's exactly what it needed.
I mean, she's joking about it, but it must have a big fan base, right? Or else they wouldn't show it.
Just for hours. Top of the Pops. This was Britain's answer to American Bandstand. All the chart-topping hits lip-synced to perfection by your favorite stars.
Oh... This is called Top of the Pops? Yeah, I don't really watch these shows, but for some reason they've been popular in America, like lip-syncing, singing along to songs on TV, like B-list celebrities singing songs, and I don't know, not really for me, but I guess it makes sense that Britain has its own version.
first aired in 1963, much to the excitement of the youths of the day. It ended in 2006, but Top of the Pops 2, which shows episodes from yesteryear, is still hugely popular. My personal favorite thing about this show is watching the teenage audience try to look cool and dance like regular human beings while staring at their favorite pop singers.
Okay. Okay. That's oddly specific grievance.
University Challenge. This is the best show on television.
University Challenge. I've never heard of this before. But again, I am a bit of a sucker for a good game show or reality TV.
Fiendishly difficult general knowledge competition where teams of students representing their university compete to win a very shiny trophy and the respect of their peers. The structure is very simple. There's a starter question worth 10 points that they answer individually, and if they get that question right, there's a further 3 questions worth 5 points each that they answer as a team. So, if you've ever heard anybody say your starter for 10, or you've seen the movie of that same name starring James McAvoy, well, that's a reference to this show.
No.
It's hosted by...
Okay, so it's University Challenge. Yeah, I actually really like the idea for this. I specifically like that it's different universities, like, pitted against each other in a trivia contest. That actually, I think this show would do pretty well in the United States, actually. I like this.
By fearsome journalist Jeremy Paxman, who's just like that really strict teacher that you were always disappointing in school. Come on, Warwick, that was obviously Much Ado About Nothing, honestly.
Wow.
Time Team. This is the second best show on television.
The second best. Time Team. I like the names of these shows, by the way. That last one, University Challenge, Top of the Pops, what else? Coronation Street, Dad's Army. Yeah, some of these names are like... Maybe for British people, you're like, yeah, I know what that show's about. But if you just hear the name of the show for the first time, like me, Time Team, it's like, I have no idea what that means, like what the show is about.
A Sunday evening staple, Time Team follows a team of archaeologists over 3 days as they excavate a historical site. So it's kind of like those home makeover shows, but in reverse. I have a degree in archaeology mostly because of this show.
Really? An archaeology reality TV show competition? Based on archaeology, of all things. I'm not sure if this would do well in America, but then again, Pawn Stars did well. It's just a show about a pawn shop. So, yeah, maybe this would do good on, like, the History Channel, or, I don't know, interesting. I've never heard of a show like this.
It's hosted by Tony Robinson, who played Baldric in Blackadder, because obviously if you're an actor in a historical sitcom, you know a lot about it in real life, right? I don't know, there's some kind of logic there. He isn't doing it as the Baldric character, though. He's not just standing over a trench going, there's a wall, but not a roof, so how can you prove there's a house? Springwatch. Yes, we Brits are obsessed with the weather. So much...
Springwatch? No idea. It's a show about weather? Is that what I'm hearing?
So that we dedicate hours of programming to it each year. Springwatch follows a group of very hearty, outdoorsy type presenters as they wait patiently for daffodils to bloom or lambs to be birthed. It's by far the most dad-friendly show on TV.
Wait, what? What are they actually doing? Because they're not just standing around watching flowers grow, right?
Mostly people standing in a field and saying things like, well, we've been waiting here for 8 hours and the sheep don't look any closer to birthing yet. Now let's go over to the camera in the badger set.
There must be some appeal to the show, because it's on this list, and it's popular. Springwatch? You just watch spring happen? Is that the show?
There's also an autumn watch and a winter watch, although no summer watch because we don't have summers in Britain. Do you have a favourite British programme that never made it stateside?
Wow. Yeah. This was very, very interesting to me. Very interesting list. All shows that I had no idea what on earth they're about. Most of these I have never heard before. never heard of before. But I have to say, some of these kind of piqued my interest. If nothing else, this was really interesting. Again, it's amazing how Britain has just a different collection of TV, basically, that us Americans are totally unaware of. It's kind of fun. This video was by Angliophenia. I got to give it a like, because that was quite good. And there were a few shows here that genuinely I'd be interested in like checking out a bit more. Maybe even the Great British Bake Off. You know, as generic as that sounds, like you'd probably find me watching it if I were British. But I quite enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these TV shows that all Brits know of, apparently, but Americans sure don't. Or any other British TV shows that deserved to be on this list. That'd be interesting to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain and British culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.